What is karate? Is it a violent art designed only to injure and maim? An art in which the skill of its opponents is judged solely by the number of bricks or the thickness of wood that they can break with their bare hands? Or is it an art, perhaps, by means of which the body can be made strong, the mind improved, and the character shaped into a model of what an intelligent, active person should be? What makes karate different from boxing or wrestling or other combat arts that have survived the mechanization of war and the comforts of the 20th century? Why do these survive when so many other artifacts of the ages of conflict, like the longbow and the quarterstaff, are no more? There are opposing views. According to Seiji Noma, the founder of the famous Japanese publishing house Kodansha and a school teacher at the turn of the century in Okinawa, the Ryukyuans had developed through centuries of practice the peculiar art of self-defense known as tekobushi. A Ryukyuan expert could smash every bone in his victim's body with the thrusts of his arms as if he had been struck with a giant hammer. Not infrequently, poor victims were found dead by the roadside, bearing marks of terrible blows from naked fists. The observations of one of the most senior karate instructors of this century, however, are very different. On January the 18th, 1936, Chojun Miyagi, the founder of Goju-ryu Karate, gave a speech at the Meiji Shoten in Sakai-Suji, a suburb of Osaka, Japan. In this address, which followed a demonstration of karate, Miyagi-sensei stated, "The true essence of karate, the perfection or ideal for which we strive, cannot be expressed or passed on through the spoken or written word. It is intangible in its nature. The only way to understand the true meaning of this essence is to internalize it into your being through training." Karate is a way of improving the mind, body and character, while, at the same time, learning to inflict debilitating injuries and even death upon an enemy. Therefore, it naturally follows that to learn one facet of karate without studying the other would be irresponsible and improper. Many students learn the movements of karate but not the art, and therefore never develop the power. Some understand the philosophical and moral concepts of karate, but do not train their bodies to take advantage of the physical aspects. This art, so long kept secret by its originators, can only be acquired in its most powerful and therefore useful form by the serious study of both its physical, moral, and philosophical aspects. When mastery is acquired, one can be said to be an exponent of Uchinadi, literally our fighting method, the unique unarmed method of the Ryukyu Islands, now known more commonly as karate. In the early days of the international karate movement, many pseudo-scientific attempts were made by instructors to explain the phenomenal destructive power of karate techniques. It was felt that as Western education was scientifically based, this approach would be more acceptable to Occidentals. In the post-war years, the traditional Oriental system, where learning was by rote and knowledge was disseminated only at the discretion of seniors, was thought unsuitable for the many Western students now clamoring to learn the art. The explanations, although well-intentioned, were both childish and misleading. The power of the original karate techniques did not spring from simple principles of mechanics, as was claimed. It resulted from the expert use of sophisticated body movements by performers who had achieved a level of physical and mental control and strength beyond the understanding of most men. Striking techniques in real karate were not, and are not, as it was originally suggested, thrusts of the arm, the piston, propelled by the twisting or torquing of the body, the crankshaft, around a single axis. They are, in fact, at all but the most basic level, strikes delivered by means of a fast whipping movement of the attacking arm. At the moment of impact on the opponent, the fist or open hand, made hard and heavy by constant makiwara training, delivers a tremendous force generated by the performer's body movement. This is the power of atifa, as it is known in Okinawa, the ability to defeat an enemy with one powerful, stunning blow, the results of which were witnessed by Seiji Noma during his time in Okinawa. It is important to understand the correct principles of striking, of the need to keep the elbow of the striking arm relaxed, to pull the opposing arm back in hikite after striking, and to maintain extended vigilance, zanshin, to protect yourself against retaliation after you have attacked an opponent. The mid-level punch is usually done like this. The most important thing in punching is how you use your joints. The elbow, hip, knee, ankle and shoulders. These joints have to transmit power through the body. The hip moves like this. The moment that you hit the target, immediately pull back your punching hand. Another important point is to relax the joints after making contact. Don't stay tense. When you strike, you should do so with a whipping action, like this. In the case of shoto-uchi, you can of course use the hand, as we all know, but you should also use the forearm. This is the conventional strike using the hand. When the forearm is used, the effect is much greater. Ready? First with the hand, then with the forearm. One of the most common techniques found in kata is Jodan Agi-uke. Jodan Agi-uke is like this. It is very important that you do not expose your armpit when performing this technique, as it is the site of a kyusho, a vulnerable point. Close it like this. Jodan Agi-uke does not mean just a rising block. Rather, the arm describes an upward arc during the blocking movement, for reasons you will understand. If your opponent blocks your attack without using a circular rising movement, you can counter by immediately attacking him with your elbow. Remember, agioke is not like this, but like this with a circular rising movement. If you block correctly, you can knock the attack away and force your opponent's arm back. When you receive the attack, you can push back as I showed before, then deflect the attack to the side and counterattack.
When you punch, extend your arm, let it squeeze this muscle. That's why you become square. Okay, don't keep out. You should out this one and squeeze this one. That's a bounce back. When you punch, you have to use it. The hip, keep going, and when it impact, you should turn it back. Okay, here. Now, when you impact, you have to use your wrist. Try, stick in your fist, the target's body. Okay, punch, touch, that way, okay, here. Touch. Okay. Your shoulder, wrist, same level. Here. Okay. Hey. Here. Shrink. Spread chest. Shrink. Spread chest. Now when you block, okay, blocking arm is slide. Okay. Don't open. Slide. Okay. Now, kata is depends on the person how wide, how big motion is. But if you're doing like this, you have only this much chance for blocking. So doing like this, you have more chance. So a little bit out, try to make, okay, shoulder and spread chest. So don't stretch out too much. Okay. Now, Tsunami Uchinadi. Okay. Now, karate's block is, this is not only block, this is also attack too, offense. So you feel, supposed to feel like somebody punch, you're striking this person's arm, okay? Strike arm. Okay, now, okay, would you punch? Okay, blocking is, this is only block. When you do, okay, this is only block. This block is supposed to strike and recoil and punch target space. So, okay, go. From inside. So when you block, you punch, blocking, relax, bounce back. Don't keep tight. Okay, so relax. Right away, strike and relax. Hey. Hey. Your movement is too much open. Block, this, okay. Now, basic training, you have to do like this, here. Almost you slide this one straight up, squeeze your elbow. Elbow is never lift, down. So when you twist your fist, elbow can keep down. Then spread chest. Okay. Almost feel like you punch there, this side. No. Okay. Punch and bounce back. Yes. If you do this, now you are only blocking. Okay. This is also same as offense. You have to strike. So how to strike this? Would you punch? Lower. If you're doing like this is only become blocking. So because your body go there, arm go there. So it's blocking, then you can punch. But also, this is offense, so it means go, block, use your shoulder, hip, going to this way. Okay. Now, when you do that, let's go. Again, go. Okay, again, punch, go. Strike. It's always supposed to strike and bounce back. Relax. Don't hold here. Relax. You have to do big motion. The Okinawans all saying that when you practice big motion, when you use small motion. Okay. So now you can do this here. Okay, use your elbow. Good. Down. Center. Elbow down. Make it straight. Okay. Chi. Down. Good. Here. Center. Knee. Sam. Shi. Go. Okay, use your chest. Man. Now, this movement is not realistic because your arms here is when you're blocking. From here to here means this is extra move, blocking. This way is only for training. Now, real one is here. Go from with your arms. If your arms here, this from here. Start. You don't do 1, 2. Okay, here. Or you're doing like this. From here, move. Then from there you can grab. Don't shito, okay, is don't use shito. You have to use your arm. Okay. Or all the way is assume blocking this way. Right? Go. Use wet towel and heavier. Okay. Okay, try. Moroteuke means, because of this name, makes people confused. Of course, we can use block in this one, but this arm is actually, this is offense, punch. So would you punch? Block. Okay. Here. Or you're just stay there. Now, this is totally back fist, and his stomach up. When we hit the face, his stomachs come up and punch. Or when we punch here, his face come back fist.
In a previous age, Naihanchi was the first kata to be learned in many schools of karate. It contained, according to Choki Motobu, its most famous proponent, everything that one needed to know about karate. He spoke with some authority. In 1923, and already in his 50s, he fought a professional boxer half his age, and with one blow delivered to the temple by a single knuckle strike, knocked him unconscious in short order. In 1905, the renowned karate master Ankoi Tosu developed the Pinan katas as a way of teaching karate within the educational system of Okinawa. Many techniques previously performed with the open hand were now performed with the fist. Techniques that might have caused injuries to the inexpert were removed, and the emphasis of training shifted from self-defense to physical and spiritual development. They proved to be very successful in this role, but were not readily accepted by the martial arts community. Even the more notable of Anko's students, such as Ken Tsuyabe and Gima Shinken, did not learn or teach them for that matter, and recommended instead Kushanku as the foundational kata. Although this kata retains the essential martial elements of the old kata, it is somewhat lacking in focus or kime, and the hips and the rest of the body are not synchronized. Based on Kushanku, it features the kosadachi or woman stance, which is named for the resemblance of the position of the feet to the brush strokes in the Chinese ideogram for woman. Techniques, where repeated, must be clearly defined in their performance and not delivered as a sequence. Pinan Nidan is based on the basic movements of the Shuri style of karate. Elements of Jiti and Chinti are probably its foundation. Ichigeki Hisatsu, the ability to finish a fight with one punch, must be developed by means of Hojo Undo or supplementary training with weights and practice at the Makiwara. It is also important to remember that only a relaxed body performing relaxed movements can deliver energy to a target with maximum efficiency. The important points of this kata are the turning and striking movements and the elbow block and back fist strike. It is also important that, in the movement where an antagonist who has grabbed you from behind is attacked by punching him over your own shoulder, that shoulder must be lowered. Pinan Yondan is perhaps inspired by the more ancient kata kushanku, and there is therefore a great deal of meaning in the movements of the kata. The transitional movements deserve close attention, as does the circular blocking technique which resembles a strike to a drum. A unique feature of this kata is the hiza-ate or knee smash technique. Pinan Godan appears to have its roots in the kata Chinto, Passai, and Wanshu. The origin of this kata is the style of karate originally practiced in the town of Tomari. A unique feature is the machidi, or circling hand technique. It is, of course, difficult for modern students of karate, especially those in the West, to dedicate themselves to the difficult task of learning and then striving to perfect their performance of the kata. They will surely ask, as have tens of thousands of those who have gone before them, whether it is worthwhile and whether their fighting ability will improve as a result. They should remind themselves that the kata of Okinawan karate were considered so valuable in the past, they were taught in earnest only to the very best students, one at a time, and under conditions of the greatest secrecy. It should also be noted that, in those days, only the perfect performance of a kata would open the door of knowledge to the next. Kata is the heart of true karate, for it is the way that movement free of conscious thought is learned. Just as the complete freedom of the intellect is acquired through the assiduous study of Zen Buddhism, so training in kata will free the body and mind of their bonds and unleash the universal power that dwells within them. Without kata, there is no structure in karate, no path towards achievement, no vehicle with which to travel from the physical to the intellectual and spiritual levels of martial arts training. we find in the following passage from ancient Chinese martial arts literature the key to the understanding of kata and the reason for its survival as an essential element of karate training. At first, the body is necessary just as a raft is necessary in crossing a river, but after the crossing is completed, the vehicle can be discarded. When a man is full of cosmic breath and his outer strength complete, then he becomes independent of his body. He is oblivious to heat and cold, water and fire. Heaven and earth cannot harm him. In following the Tao, there is no death. Kata is the legacy we accept from our karate ancestors and that we must pass on to our descendants unchanged.